So this is a bit of an ad hoc video. I don't want to. I really don't want to go on too much about anything too substantial. This is more of an emotive thing, and it's something that kind of sideswiped me, kind of hit me in the head right away, and I wanted to get it out. But when it comes to the whole thing about marriage equality, I think, like I said, this is not going to be a factual video. I haven't done any studies or anything on this, so I don't want to tout it for anything more than it is, but except a gay man's perspective on marriage and marriage equality. I think, there was a debate early on in Canada, at least, about civil unions versus gay marriage or same-sex marriage, blah blah blah. And I think there were some distinctions being made in terms of what is religiously allowed and what isn't religiously allowed, what is allowed by a secular government and what isn't allowed by a secular government, blah blah blah. How do your taxes work out when you get married, blah blah blah. So I personally don't find marriage itself as a religious institution that validating. I think people at some level want to pair bond. I don't know how instinctual that is. I don't know how biological that is. I don't know how genetic that is. But generally speaking, in terms of a matter of fact, there are opposite sex couples that want to pair bond and raise kids and own a house and pool resources, etc., to basically to pass on their genes. And I think gay people want to do the same thing. I mean, they generally want to settle down with someone, and have kids and have a family and raise a family, etc., and enjoy all the state sanctioned benefits that you get for being married or in a civil union, etc. But I want to look a little bit deeper than that in terms, as not just in terms of tax benefits and etc. I know I'm saying etc. a lot, but get used to it, because I'm never going to stop saying that. But point being is, I think when it comes to marriage, you're talking essentially about sex. Like you're talking about sexual expression, like as it comes down to the genetic level of your being, right? And I know we haven't figured out that homosexuality is a genetic thing just yet. I know there are markers, there are genetic markers or genetic clues or hints, but it could also be epigenetic. It could be influenced by environment and nature versus nurture, blah 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 blah. But I think at the core of marriage is sexual expression. I feel like the straight version of marriage is so based on sexual expression. Like, it's based on man, woman, kids. Like, I mean, that is what sex is. It's based on, it's even based on social movements about sex when it comes to gender equality and gender identity. Not gender identity necessarily, but gender identity in terms of man, woman, have sex, have kids, blah blah blah. It's a very primal and basic thing that I feel kind of gets overlooked when it comes to the whole gay marriage thing. Like, the gay marriage thing is seen as more artificial and kind of up there. It's not really sex, they can't really have kids, they can't procreate, so that doesn't really come into the picture. So it's something artificial, it's something made up, and blah blah blah. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, and you've probably already figured it out, is that I think that same sexual expression exists in the gay world. Like, sexuality needs to be expressed, and it's something very, very core to our beings. And I think marriage as an institution facilitates that kind of, not sexuality itself, but it expresses, or it allows that expression of love and sex and kids and etc. And I really do believe that. And I think you take that away from human beings, and you're left with some problems in society when there are people who can't express sexuality in the way that they want to express it. You end up with mental illness as a side effect. You end up with anxiety and weird expectations and broken families, etc. It's not that a male female with kids bond is so strong because it is the thing that is strong. It's strong because it's traditionally been supported by government. You apply those same benefits or those same supports, government supports to same-sex couples, and you will find the flourishing of family life and blah 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 blah. Anyway, that's all I want to say. It's kind of an off video. I don't know why I made that today. I guess I was on a trip with my friend earlier today to see the new Line 1 extension, and maybe that kind of stuck it in my... Anyway, don't want to say too much because that's getting into like a weird territory. But anyway, that's all I want to say. Bye.